and then I'll do the intros, and I'll let you introduce yourselves as well. Just say whatever you want. Okay, we're live. All right. Welcome back to Odys Talks, everyone. Naturally, this show is brought to you by Odys Global, your one-stop marketplace for age domains, websites, and a number of additional services, including 3-in-1 redirects, topic clusters, EAT audit, website hosting. You can also mm, get domains or websites from us and pay for them in installments. And if this is the case for you, you should just reach out to us. You should also go to odys.global/mentors and get easy access to the industry's top minds. I'm your host, Vlad the Lad. Today I'm joined by two legends, Fery, Kaszoni, and Karl Kangur. I'll let guys introduce themselves in a second, so let's kick things
Ladies
off.
and gentlemen, we are live.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for finding the time to do this and have this battle of the century. So why don't you guys go on and introduce yourselves? Karl, you've been here on the show about a year ago, I think. So I'll give the honors to Fery this time to do his introductions first.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Vlad. I'm pumped to be here, and hopefully we can have a good, SEO to SEO person discussion that you actually see at conferences, right? That's I always enjoy talking to other people in the industry, and every other. I'm sorry for anyone watching, and it's not an SEO. I kind of find any other talk that's not SEO marketing kind of boring. But I enjoy them as well. But like SEO is way better, of course. Of course, I'm Fery. I run Search Intelligence. We do digital PR. And an interesting fact: when I was 12 years old, I wiretapped the family home with microphones, and I recorded everything that was happening there, including my uncle's bedroom, which I'm not going to talk about in this session. And then he came and destroyed the cassettes because they were like magnetic cassettes. So that's kind of who I am.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Fery.
Good to be here.
All right. Karl.
All right, thanks a lot for having me back on. So since we're starting with the kind of childhood stories, when I was 12, I started building affiliate websites, and that's what I've been doing since then. So I've been in SEO for 15 years. Day to day, I run Smash Digital, which is an SEO agency. We specialize in high-end link building. So kind of trying to get links on sites that usually don't sell links. And as of last year, I'm also in the events business. So we have the SEO Estonia conference and now also the Chiang Mai SEO conference, which are two of my kind of passion projects.
Awesome. Why don't you do a shameless plug and tell us more about SEO Estonia this year?
Yeah, so SEO Estonia is started by myself and Kyle Roof, who most people are probably familiar with. And it kind of started off as a joke. Kyle was like, "You're from Estonia, like what's that like?" And he just wanted to go. He was like, "You're kind of known there. I know some people. We should do a conference." And then we're like, "Yeah, sure." This is obviously over drinks. And then it just kind of ended up happening, and we pulled off something really amazing. We had 200 people, incredible speakers, incredible sponsors like Odys. And the feedback was amazing, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever kind of done in my life. So naturally, we have to do it again. So that's happening this year, June 12 to 14 in Tallinn, Estonia. It's going to be around 400 people. We've got some amazing speakers, 17, 18 of them, amazing sponsors. Odys, I believe Search Intelligence, we have a deal as well. And obviously Smash Digital is going to be bringing that to you. And yeah, 400 people in Estonia. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, awesome. Looking forward to it. And by the way, just as an off topic, before you sort of like revealed yourself as an Estonian with the CEO Estonia, I never would have guessed you're Estonian, And I sent Karl a message yesterday. I found a video of him talking to Timo, one of his friends and partners of sorts, I guess. And they were speaking Estonian. I was like, wow, it's so cool. Don't understand a single thing they're saying, but it sounds so cool. Amazing. Yeah. So while preparing for this conversation, I've been thinking, like, what should I like call this episode? What name should I give it? And well, I actually recall the song, and it sort of perfectly blended in with the links, so I ended up naming it Link Stuff. So
It's just one of those days.
so it's all about Link Stuff,
Very
right?
relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. So okay, guys, Fery, you're doing digital PR. Karl, you're great at link building, and Smash Digital obviously is great at link building. And by the way, props to you for your link building workshop in Vietnam, in Saigon, because for me, a person who's not an SEO and hasn't really understood what link building is and how it works, you basically put it out for me in simple terms, so I actually started understanding it. So guys, when it comes to getting traffic, getting more exposure online, winning over other websites and companies in SERPs, what works best? Links or digital PR? I mean, link building or digital PR. All right, so let's jab it out. I want to hear your opinions and your perspectives. Whoever wants to go first.
Can I answer with a question?
Of course.
If you want to be fit and you want to get, jacked up, like I know Karl is like, he's smashing it. He's going to the gym like crazy, and you can tell. Karl, like anyone, what works best? Is it having the morning protein shake, or having the chicken breast, grilled chicken breast after the sessions, or having the 2 doses of creatine pre-workout and post-workout, or even maybe early in the morning? Like, what works best? That's kind of my answer to this question. I don't think, or just going to the gym and exercising. I think, in my opinion, the answer is, well, a combination of all works best, right? It shouldn't be isolated. It shouldn't be like, oh, only this works. I mean, it could work. You could skip your protein shake and only have chicken breast, and you could even not take creatine or any other supplements, and it will still work. But when you bring them together and make them work together on the body, I think that's what works best.
Interesting. Karl, your move.
Yeah, obviously, I do the post workout SEO tips, little SEO show. So I love the analogy here, and I think it's spot on. It's like, if you look at it in the big picture, like if you're in a very low competition industry, you can get away with pretty much anything. The same with dieting. Like, if your goals are not massive, you're not trying to be a jacked bodybuilder, you can do some weird diets. You can run up and down the stairs and like clap your hands and do all this weird stuff, and you might get some results. But if you want to be a professional bodybuilder, you got to do all the things. You got to eat 6 meals a day, train in a certain way, and like understand how the body works. It's the same in SEO. So if you're in a lower competition industry, you can kind of mess around, make some mistakes and whatever, and things might still work. If you are in a competitive industry, such as the sleep industry, which I know Fery and I share a client in, you have to do all the things. You have to do digital PR. You have to do on page. You have to do amazing content, and all those things kind of work in sync.
All right. Well, could you guys explain to me as the biggest dumbest here in in this episode? I mean, pretty much both of these techniques are about, well, getting mentioned wherever, like getting a link, right? So what's the principal difference between link building and digital PR per se?
Should I? Because I'm looking at the screen. Vlad, me, and Karl. Should we do it this way, or do you want to randomly?
Yeah. If you have anything to say, like straight away, just don't wait for anyone.
Well, I think in our world, because I'm an SEO. If for me, digital PR is only for link building. And I know some traditional digital PR agencies are going to hear this and they're going to want to, I think I might have something on my head coming from the window, like a red dot. And it's kind of scratching the chalkboard with my fingernails now. But for us and for 95% of our clients, digital PR is for links. So digital PR is actually link building, and I think it's a link building that supports the other types of link building as well. So it's almost like a pillar of link building. It's not the main pillar; it's one of the pillars of link building. And guest blogs and even PPNs can work if you do it well, right? So I'm not dismissing. And I never, even on my LinkedIn posts, sometimes I like posting, hey, you should do guest posts and you should do all of these other types of link building. So I think digital PR for us is link building. It's not a product PR. It's not like promoting a client's products. It's how can we hack ourselves into the news agenda. So it get a certain type of links. It doesn't get as relevant links most of the time as like the guest post, where you have control over the title, you have control over the body of the text, over the anchor text, over everything. But it does get some other types of kind of link equity flowing to the website. So digital PR is link building, and also guest post is where you go and actually pay for the publisher to publish the post. And I'm talking about guest post because probably 80% of link building is guest post. That's what I think it is. So that's the difference. Digital PR, you earn the links where you share something. And by the way, some of the websites that are selling links are actually picking up stories because they are subscribed to Roxilla Muckrack, and they receive some digital PR campaigns, and they will publish it even for free sometimes if they like it. So, but yeah, so digital PR is like earned links, and guest post is paid links. But it's I think both are like extremely valuable.
Karl, anything to
Yeah,
add?
I mean, digital PR is just it's a form of link building when it comes to the SEO space. It is kind of a newer trend. Like in the past 10 years, it wasn't like a mainstream thing. I think Fery's got a lot of credit for kind of popularizing it, obviously. So I think a lot of SEOs are just kind of putting it in a separate bucket for no reason, but it's a strategy like any other. And Vlad, you saw my workshop at the SEO Mastery Summit. Like I made this little tier list of types of link building, and digital PR was in the S tier for me. So it's one of the most powerful ways of doing link building. Obviously, it has its pros and cons, but I think kind of like I alluded to before, if you're trying to do something big in a massive industry, it's one of the very few tools you have in your toolkit to really get to that scale and get the number of links you have to get to make significant progress. So if you're in the DR70s, 80s, 90s, competing with massive brands, it is a tool you have to employ.
All right. Here's another question for both of you. There are so many link building companies out there, like many link building companies. Well, when you travel to an SEO conference, let's say, like my impression is that about 70% of companies represented there are link building companies. So how do you stand out in the crowd when there are so many different companies trying to get this piece of the pie? I mean, I understand that the pie is pretty big, right? But still, like, what does it take to be visible in this huge crowd of link building companies, digital PR companies, publisher marketplaces? I don't remember the exact term, but you get the idea. Like, how do you get to stand out? I mean, what's the concept, the idea, and everything? Like, not your companies in particular, but like what approach should you take to actually stand out?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. There are many different approaches. So you mentioned not to talk about our specific approach. So one way people stand out is by making up new terminology, making up metrics, for example. So if we look at the guest post industry, for example, for years and years, people have been selling guest posts. We were actually one of the first companies to do it 10 years ago. And how companies started having this issue. It was kind of a race to the bottom and prices dropping. And then at one moment, one influencer goes, hold on, we're going to sell guest posts, but from sites with traffic. There you go. Now we have a unique selling proposition. And this kind of wildfire spread. So, that's one thing people do. I don't personally think that was the right thing to do. I don't think traffic is a metric when it comes to the impact and value of links. But, things like that are things companies definitely do use to stand out. In our case, we simply build links that most companies are not able to do. So we specialize in getting links on sites other people can't get access to. So if if a site has a right for us page, if they're on some kind of database, that's the type of stuff we avoid. We want the ones where you look at the link and in seconds you can go like, how do you do that? And then that's kind of our USP. And the other way we kind of differentiate ourselves is just we take a very no bullshit approach. So if a client's not a good fit, so we get this all the time. Someone comes, they have a brand new website. It's a solo developer. They've got 100K in the bank. And they're like, guys, I built this great CRM. We're going to take down HubSpot. And I'm like, not with SEO, you're not. Like, this is not happening. So being comfortable saying no and explaining, why this doesn't compute. So, they've been doing this for 20 years and they have links from 340,000 high authority websites. And we usually build 10 of these every month. Like, yeah, you can see how the math doesn't work out here.
Indeed. Yeah, I think I just had an idea when you were talking about coming up with terms and, just reinventing the USP, right? So I think if I had a guest blog company, what I would do now is it might be a bit, counterintuitive depending on the inventory. But what I would do now, if I was a guest blog company, I would say link building has changed. Lots of websites have been penalized. We only get your links on websites that have had over 20% growth in the past 3 months compared to the previous 9 months. Boom. It means Google did not affect those websites. Google loves the website. So we only get your links on websites that Google loves because of this metric. Boom. That's a new USP. Maybe somebody can take it. We don't do guest posts, so everyone is happy to take it.
Yeah, there's the thing in fitness it's called bro science. So you can make up some kind of sciencey explanation. It's like, if you do the same exercises every single day, your body gets used to it. So you're going to stop growing. So you need to shock the body and do something new. So we see a lot of the same thing in the SEO industry, especially when it comes to selling links. What Fery just said, he literally made it up on the spot, but you can see how that logic could work, right? But a lot of people fall into that and they're like, yes, that's what I need. Exactly. It makes sense.
It's the same as, like, as you said, like traffic and like this, all the previously made up, but maybe it could work. Maybe Google actually loves those sites if it went up after the, until the next update, of course, when Google will stop loving those sites. Maybe we have to reinvent again what we know, what the metrics are. But for digital PR, I think, I can talk from like digital PR. I think there's more and more, companies coming to the surface, but I think we were, the second or one of the first ones who kind of actually guarantee the links. And with digital PR, the biggest risk is, hey, if I spend 10 grand on a campaign and nobody picks it up, then what do we do? Like, well, nothing. This is PR. That was the previous kind of approach to digital PR, where we launch this crazy creative and you spend 40 grand a month with us, and then maybe we'll get your links, maybe not, but we'll do some nice fancy creatives on your website with nice infographics, and they will and by the way, those are valuable assets. Those are actually good brand building assets. I'm not kind of dismissing that approach, because that works for different purposes, and it works if it gets links as well. And I think they are great. But, the way we stood out is we said, we're not going to run those big campaigns. We just run simple, smaller campaigns, cheaper, and with links guarantee. Because the risk, we don't spend 2 months on creating, dev assets and creating visual assets with the designer team and going through 70 steps of approval process. We just go to keep it simple, and then we launch, and then we guarantee links in this way. That's how we stood out. And it starts to become the norm in the industry now, which is good. I think if SEOs are buying a service for link building purposes, I think they should get the links and they should have a links guarantee.
How did you fare with the latest Google update, by the way?
Is that a question for
both of us?
I'll let Karl jump
I'll
in.
I'll specify if it's going to be a specific a question for anyone
okay,
in
cool.
particular.
Yeah, so from our side, on the agency side, I'd say 80% of our companies, the companies we work with, are e-commerce and software. So that industry, as when it comes to updates, was pretty much untouched in general. And a lot of the e-commerce clients we have seen actually continuous increase since September. Actually, every single update they've been just going upwards. Personally, it's been a little bit painful because I have a pretty high authority digital marketing blog that is kind of basically affiliate site, and that one took a hit with the core update in October. That was about 20%, and now with the current update, probably another like 10%. It's not drastic, but it is definitely something I'm noticing. But it isn't something I'm super worried about because when I look at the search results, it doesn't seem like something that's sustainable. If I look at the sites that are outranking me, to me, and this isn't because I have a link building company, like this update has nothing to do with content because all of the sites that are outranking me are just way more authoritative. So I'm a DR77, the sites outranking me are DR90, DR85, DR89, and with clearly much worse content and no expertise, no experience, no authority. Well, they have the authority and trust, but like the actual content quality isn't there. So I find it hard to see a world where Google doesn't do some kind of reversal on the current updates.
Yeah, I was literally Googling things and I couldn't find. I think I was looking for like, we are going to Croatia this summer with my wife and kids, and I was trying to find the best sandy beaches in Croatia. The first results, like the top 10, is like unbelievably like horrible. Like you couldn't find anything that you were looking for. I was shocked last night. I was like, this cannot be Google. This is like Bing when they started. I don't know how many years ago. This is not Google. They must do something because this is definitely not good.
Okay, so what about you, Fery? About the Google update and
well, I think we had clients who are in affiliate, we have clients who are in like lots of clients who are in e-commerce. And I think it's kind of stable. We have had we don't check the rankings of the clients because we don't do like the SEO work. We just deliver the campaigns. But some clients went down, some clients went up, just like everyone in this. We had clients who are booming. We had clients who have dropped. I think some of the sleep clients lately. I think the one that we mentioned, if that's the one, I'm not sure whether that's the one. We have to talk about this, but they have had the e-commerce sites, or because they have e-commerce sites and they have affiliate sites as well. The affiliate sites have just been dropping, but now they are, of course, they are redoing. Yeah, but the e-commerce sites, like they have like 2 or 3 e-commerce sites, they're like stable, and even some of them are even growing. So it's really it's a mix of both, right? Some clients are going up, and some affiliates. We had some affiliates who are going up, but again, it makes no sense. There's no logic in the trend. It's not like this website had better content, or that this website had better UX. There's literally no blueprint of what happened. But on the flip side, by the way, most of the clients who do work with us work with also like with lots of other link building agencies as well. But also, I think what happened is, I'm not sure whether you see this, Karl. People are kind of rethinking the way they combine link building strategies now. So more and more people came to us lately saying, hey, we are building guest posts, but we do want to diversify a little bit with some PR links as well, because look what happened. And some of them said, like, some of the websites, as you know, that are selling links have been obliterated as well by Google. So the trust faded away a little bit, but I think it's temporary because it was just a shock by Google. And I think initially people were even like, oh, I'm not going to build any links because of even digital PR. We're not going to do anything like right at the beginning. But I think now things start to stabilize. I think people are going back to more strategic guest posts and more strategic digital PR. I don't think it affected the industry big time at all.
Mhm.
Would you agree, Karl?
Yeah, it's tricky with these because I'm sure you're very involved with the SEO community as a whole as well, and like you hear these stories from friends. I've got a friend, he had a massive travel site, 60 employees, some of the best content in the world, works with actual experts, and like went from millions of visitors to a few hundred K since September.
Crazy,
So like
man.
real businesses are being destroyed and being hurt, and it's rough. And it is definitely having major impacts in the industry, but yeah, I think SEO is very far from dying. I don't think this update is as bad as people think. And I have quite a few different theories on what's going on here. I have some that are kind of conspiracy theories,
Oh,
and
let's
some that are a little more plausible. I think one thing to kind of keep in mind is that core updates are a big thing. Like they always have been. A core update never just targets one thing. So just because they put the helpful content into this doesn't mean they're only looking at helpful content. They're looking at all the other stuff they looked at with previous core updates and the helpful content on top of that. So at the same time, we also have the link spam update. So one reason that the update might be taking, I think this is like day 49 of this rolling out now. So it's been the longest Google update in history. So I kind of mentioned this in my workshop as well, where what we've seen a lot is that the kind of classic guest posting approach of these, platforms selling basically databases of links. Someone emails you, you're like, hey, we got these 300 sites you can buy links on
every day.
Here's the contact, $20, this. Like, if they're sending these to my, like, I don't know, cooking affiliate website, do you think a Google employee's never seen this list and be like, yeah, maybe we want to discount these? So I think the first time I kind of heard of a unnatural outbound link penalty go out was in like 2016. And if you Google this is basically a warning that's given to websites that participate in link schemes that say every link going out from your website is now worth zero. We don't trust them. We don't count them. And I think what's happening is that more and more of these sites, that affiliate sites in particular, and content-based websites, they can't get very high-quality links. It's much easier for e-commerce and SaaS to get high-quality links. Affiliates, they're stuck with the bottom of the barrel when it comes to link building. So a lot of those types of sites have been relying on these links. They don't have a lot of trust to begin with, as they're not a legitimate business, so to say. So a lot of those links are now disavowed, or basically not looked at by Google. So you might look like your DR55 site on paper on Ahrefs, but Google doesn't care about the DR.
Yeah.
They discounted half of your links, so now you're a DR25 site, and you just don't deserve to rank where you did before. So you were number 1, now you're number 13. All is fair. Build some more links, you'll get back there. So that's kind of one part of it. Obviously, the content side, all of that is important as well. And then coming to the kind of conspiracy side of things, like the magicians always do this. Like, or have you ever seen those videos about professional pickpockets? So they want to steal your watch. They'll touch you on the outer shoulder to make you put your focus here. Meanwhile, they can do whatever you want with your hand. And we've seen this, Google do this kind of when they did the public takedown of blog networks in 2012. So they did a public hanging and said, build my rank, and these huge private blog networks were taking them down. They're dead. We decimated all these sites. Everyone's rankings have dropped massively. And it was a very clear, like, stay away from private blog networks. Don't do this. Which is like,
there's a PR campaign.
It's good PR campaign, right?
Yeah.
You instill fear into people. People don't touch them. And then I think and we didn't to an extent. And 7 years later, we kind of tested it again. We're like, these still work. Hold on. And the whole industry kind of wrote them off, right? So if you're Google and you're struggling with websites that are creating low quality AI content and so on and so forth, what can you do? You can do a PR campaign. You call it the helpful content update. You destroy a bunch of businesses. And you put the focus on the content because that's your goal. That's their genuine goal, is to make the internet a better place, serve their users better. And now when everyone is hurting, whatever reason that might be, the businesses that are real, the businesses that care, they're shifting all of their focus right now to figure out how do we increase time on page? How do we get brand searches up? How do we redesign our site? How do we make our content better? How do we get more interaction? They're doing all these things now. The good companies are. And the spammy stuff just kind of dies off. So I think, it is a bit of a stretch, but it makes sense. So here's some bro science for you.
I think at least 50% of the current, kind of updates were like more of a PR stunt. And I think once the update is done, things will kind of get back to normal. Things, will start, working again until Google does another, PR stunt again, will target something else. I think Google is struggling with AI content because now they have to find some other ways to assess the quality of the content, right? Not just based on the actual quality, but based on something else as well. I think the future of SEO is probably, and this is like, this is a very big kind of phrase. Like future of SEO is like brand building, right? But brand building, I think the future SEO companies will not just be content, copywriting and link building agencies, because that's what SEO companies were like. You do an audit, you do a content strategy, and then link building strategy, and then boom, that's SEO, right? That's how it used to be, and it still works. I think next it will be. It will be like creative department. It will be video, high end, really good quality video production department where you embed all the social media channels into your strategy. And I think even influencer, like creating influencers at your company who earn trust to the company, to the website through social media content. And then when people see, your name and your company, they already trust you because all the other influencers who are part of the company or like the CEO or so on have already, warmed them up, and then they will get more clicks on Google. I think this is probably 3, 4, 5 years. I think it's going to be more and more, video department, creative stunt department, link building department, content creation department, and everything else that comes into like branding. I think that's going to be SEO.
Yeah, well, that's what I keep hearing for quite a while now, that like branded search is what makes all the difference today. Because companies, established brands, they were pretty much not hit by the update, and they survived, and they're faring well. They're just keeping on with their lives and their businesses. There's.
I was just looking at the the best mattresses keywords yesterday in a screen share with this client, and we were like, CNET #1. There's not even like a mention that they have tested any mattress. It's like, what the heck? Why are they there when this client actually hired a chiropractor who filmed while they tested the mattress, and he gave his expert opinion on the mattresses. He had like a pile of mattresses up on each other, and those are being ignored by the CNET because they are like a big brand, a well-established brand. They can rank #1 for the keyword, even though they have not actually tested them, and they are like very almost like biased, but like it makes no sense for them to rank #1. So big brands have kind of gotten away with this update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and the thing is that they actually, let's say, provide quality services or products to their client base, audience.
Indeed.
So at the end of the day, it seems like it's not even about the quality of content, keyword insertions and links, but the way a brand can solve someone's problems.
Yeah, it's too big to fail. I think some of the brands are like the ones that get away. I'm just looking at Steven's comments here, like SEO.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, engine optimization.
This is what I wanted to share. I think he's saying, I think the SEO industry needs to come together and just buy Google out. Problem solved. So I am sharing your comments, Steve.
Yeah, I'm laughing at them. So, Steve, engine optimization, good.
Absolutely. Yeah. So big brands survived, and not just big brands. So just as you mentioned, e-commerce companies, SaaS companies. By the way, I've seen a fair share of SEOs transitioning towards SaaS in particular, not even e-commerce, although they might have some projects, but quite a few SEOs have transitioned to SaaS. Maybe not completely, not 100%, but they started going to this direction because it looks like it's more it's safer, it's more promising, and has like better perspective compared to SEO as an approach. Let's say, just build a great product, you market it, you sell it, you're all set, right?
What do you think, Karl? What do you think of the what do you think of the future of like SEO? I had a chat with even Matt at the in Vietnam, and we're talking about the future of SEO. How long is it going to be, and what's it going to be? And we had some interesting discussions there. What do you think of like in 5 years' time? I think it's going to kind of change from what it is now. Would you think?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been doing this for 15 years, and not a single year has ever passed by where I haven't heard SEO is dead. It's all over. Go get a real job. And it's like, and then there were definitely times that were hard. So like 2011, 2012, there's one day I had 20 websites making a shit ton of money. And one morning I wake up and I open up Google Analytics, like everything goes to zero. I'm like, that was a rough time. But if I look at my career in the big picture of like 15 years, it feels like not much has changed because it's just gradual. You just kind of flow through it, you adapt and you learn. And I think it's going to be the same. It's definitely going to change in some ways, and we're going to be there as a community. We'll be there at conferences. We'll be there on forums, and then just figure it out and kind of make it work. I think it is important to kind of, I never really consider myself an SEO. Like I'm a business and marketing guy. That's what I do. And SEO is just the one tool that I have to be really good at. So like that's where I spend my time, and it's also the kind of funnest game to play. But it's always been about doing more than that, and I think that's an important thing to kind of keep in mind. So it's not really about diversifying, but just play the business game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go on.
I'm thinking of investing, or even like on off of like physical kind of businesses. Like one of my girls loves to cook cakes, loves to bake cakes, right? And we said, let's set up a franchise cake shop, like Emmy's Cakes or Emmy's Cupcakes. I know she's 8 years old only, but I'm very tempted to kind of start and using the money from SEO and then investing into some other like other physical businesses that we can apply the mentality, because we learned a lot. Like with marketing, we can just dominate every city that we go in. If we start doing marketing for for the cake shop in the city, we could just queue people up, right, with the knowledge that we have on like how it works. When we compete in like gambling and all of those, like a cake shop is a piece of cake, as you would say, right? So thinking of kind of going into those areas. Of course, SaaS is a big thing for me. I think we launch a few products as well, like proper, unique products for the marketing community in the coming years. So I'm trying to, build things whilst we work in SEO. But what's your kind of position, Karl? Do you also have, like, I know you have the conferences, which is kind of a physical business, but do you have also like some other businesses? Yes.
So it's still in the SEO bucket, right? So we have this question. It's like, if SEO is going to die, what's going to happen to the conference?
Yeah, right.
And my instant reply was like, well, we're still the same people, and if we're all screwed, we'll still come to Chiang Mai, we'll still come to Estonia, and we'll figure out together what to do next.
It's gonna be the SEO rehab, the SEO rehab center now. When we go there, and we'll be all depressed because of SEO, and we'll cry together. Right? So we still have a chance to meet up, and we'll have a common theme.
It will just be for SEO Estonia is just going to become a 3-day nonstop mastermind of what should we do to survive in this changed world.
Indeed.
Absolutely, we can start sharing our paychecks and just hang out in Estonia. But yeah, like absolutely, like we we have other businesses. So one of our companies is Smash VC. So we actually buy parts of, let's call them lifestyle businesses. So we buy minority stakes, let's say 10 to 40%, and then we use SEO as a tool to kind of grow them. So the founder stays on to kind of keep managing the product, the service, whatever it may be. They get to take some chips off the table, and then we use our kind of SEO skills in the agency to help them scale further. So that kind of keeps us diversified as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I think that's a good business model because, I mean, it's again as any VC model, you go on luck, right? One out of like 2 out of I know 5 or whatever 10 will work out extremely well, and the rest, who knows? But if they work out well, then they pay for the rest. I think, right?
Yeah. So in our case, it's kind of the anti-VC model. So what we want is really boring, good, stable, cash flowing businesses. So even if we don't grow it at all in 2, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, we've made our money back, and these are businesses we're comfortable, keeping for
That's
a long
cool.
time. We
Well,
know
low
we're going
risk.
to be around for a long time. And then, if we can grow it with SEO, that's just the cherry on top of the cake.
Yeah, that's just a bonus. That's cool. It's a lower risk model for sure.
Yeah, we got a question from the chat. So I guess it's for Karl. Is Estonia a good market for SEOs to live there?
Ooh.
So you're asking the wrong guy between an Estonian guy who hasn't been back for 10 years and lived
That's what I wanted to say, right?
Yeah, but the clip I found was you explaining SEO in Estonian on Estonian TV. So
Yeah, so actually, Estonia's a good place if you don't mind really long winters and a lot of cold in the winter. Then it's a great place to live. It's a massive startup hub. There's huge companies, Bolt, TransferWise, Skype. All of them have offices there. So the entrepreneurial community is great. Everyone speaks amazing English. Prices are relatively cheap compared to the rest of Europe. It's a beautiful city. It's pretty easy access for travel. So yeah, definitely a good hotspot. But personally, for me, the darkness and the cold is a no. I need blue skies and 30 degrees every day.
nice.
But the conference is in the summer, so it's going to be blue skies and 30 degrees.
Yeah, and Estonian summer, well, at least in August, for me, it was perfect. It wasn't hot, it wasn't cold, it was just perfect. Another question from the chat, from Johannes Faupel for Fery. Which of your PR campaigns gave you the most unexpected success, which means exceeded all expectations?
Yeah, so it was a reactive campaign for a website called Total Shape. It's a fitness website, and we have seen on the news, I think I made a case study on this, I've seen on the news that Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are going to fight. And all we've done is we jumped on the trend within like the hour. So when it broke out in the news, the team was, online, said like, let's do something for one of our fitness clients. We identified the fitness client, said, yes, let's do it. We pushed out an expert commentary email saying, hey, as the news broke that Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg is going to fight, our client, our fitness expert client have made a few comments and shared a few opinions on who is most likely to win and why. And we just said, Mark Zuckerberg is going to win because he's got, he's participating in like actual, physical challenge competitions, but also he's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which, one-to-one combat. It's way superior to any other, combat sport. And we pushed it out, and it was like everywhere. Even Wikipedia quoted our campaign. It was like, I think it was like 50 or more links within like 2-3 days, because everyone was writing about that journalists needed experts to quote, because the journalists cannot give an opinion, right? A journalist cannot say, hey, me as a journalist, I think that Mark Zuckerberg is going to win. Even though they knew that, they cannot. That's not journalism. They cannot have an opinion. So they grabbed our opinion and wrote about it as part of a longer article. So usually they write a longer article and they include different expert opinions. And that was one of our expert opinions were like covering like all like Independent and Daily Star and everywhere around the world. So that was a very unexpected. We were like dancing in office. You were like, this is crazy. The links are just falling from the sky. So that was the most unexpected, one of the most unexpected ones.
Wow. Oh, that's quite a story. What's the most interesting and intriguing project you're working on right now, Fery?
Ooh,
That's my question.
yes, we are building a few products. We are building a few SaaS products. I cannot say what, but it's going to be for the marketing community. And I actually invest a lot in software. I invest almost 50 grand a month into software. So that's over £500,000 I push back into software products, and one day they will come to surface. So yeah, we are working on some really cool stuff. I cannot say it now because we want to be the first ones who will launch that, but some interesting software that we are building for the marketing community specifically. So yeah, that's the most important interesting those are, because we actually have two products. Those are the most interesting projects that we are working on. But the other very interesting and the most important one, of course, is search intelligence. Building up, building further, evolving the service, further evolving the team. Every week, every month, reinventing our processes, because now we are under pressure, right? When you're up and coming and you have 2-3 employees, the risks are not too big, right? You can sell, I don't know, your hair, and you can get the wages out for 2-3 employees. But when you have over £250,000 per month, or like £300,000 a month in wages to pay, then you have to make sure you keep on the edge with innovation. You keep on being on the top. So the pressure is high now. Therefore, the biggest priority is for search intelligence not to be stagnant, but to keep on evolving as a company who kind of popularized digital PR under its current form, and who hopefully educated thousands of other people how to do it. But we want to keep on being on the edge. We see lots of other agencies start offering the service, which is great, because that it just slaps me on the face, and I cannot just rest, because I have to always come up with new solutions to keep on driving prices down, right? Keep on delivering, and keep on hopefully making our clients happy by delivering reasonably in good times. I think with digital PR, that's a problem, right? You don't pay for the link, so it's not predictable when you deliver them. So when you have an estimated timeline like 2 months, sometimes it can be 3 months, sometimes it can be a month. But the timelines are the ones that we want to start bringing closer and closer, and down. That's kind of that's the projects. These are the projects that we are working on.
Nice. That's how you spot a true Intel professional. Especially about the marketing sauce. It's like you said a lot of stuff, but actually didn't disclose anything.
But I wish I could. And I disclose absolutely everything. Usually I disclose everything, but this is like almost like a secret project that not even many people at the company know about. Some people know, but not many. So
It's okay.
yeah.
It's just the three of us.
Yeah.
Just
the three of us and a bunch of other people online.
I think you'll see it in 1 or 2 months. You will kind of see
Nice.
me posting about it on.
So we gotta follow you on social media and and see what's happening.
Yeah.
All right, Karl, what about you? What's the most intriguing, interesting project or projects you're working on right now? Except for conferences, or maybe conferences as well. I don't know.
Honestly, that's it. I mean, the agency side is what it is. We kind of figured out years ago what's working, and now it's a matter of just doing that faster, doing it more efficiently, and doing it for more people. The agency life is relatively boring, and that's why it takes so much passion in the conferences, and that's where most of my kind of creative energy goes, in terms of how do we make this a better experience? How do we make these events memorable for people? How do we inspire them to connect with the rest of the community, even if they are more introverted, or they don't think conferences are for them, or they haven't had good experiences with them before. So that's kind of the most exciting. Finding different speakers, dealing with different sponsors, finding venues, coming up with creative ideas for activities we can do, and also how to kind of keep expanding that empire and building on top of that. So how do we go from just being a once a year conference, not necessarily to twice a year or more conferences, but how do we keep the conference alive when the lights go off and everyone gets on a plane? So that's those are interesting things I'm kind of pondering on. And if anyone has ideas, I'm all ears.
Nice. Got a couple more questions here for you guys. Well, two. Well, two of them, and both of them are for Fery. Out of how many PR campaigns, how many times do you guys fail to get? Did you guys fail to get links? Just for inspiration. A question from Well Wisher.
I think this question has got multiple answers depending on how you think about the question. So in terms of like how many times a client paid for a PR campaign and we have not delivered. I mean, we don't, we have a no refund policy, which means if unless the client doesn't really understand the service and they want us to do like brand PR down the line, and even though we explained it, then we just give them a refund. But if the client understands that this is not about their brand, not about very niche topics that just they do, but if they understand, and it's my job to make them understand at the beginning. If they understand what this is, then we have 100% delivery rate for every money that they spend, not because every campaign is successful. In fact, not every campaign is successful. But in terms of the links that we deliver, we always deliver them because we launch unlimited new campaigns. So let's say we launch a campaign about the UK portal capitals, and it only lands 5 links. And we promise 10 links. We don't say, well, this campaign only got us 5 links. Sorry, thank you for your $5.5 payment. See you next time. We say, hey, we promised 10 links. We launched this campaign. It got us 5 links, which is normal. Some campaigns get less links, but we're not going to stop here. Let's launch another campaign about the most dangerous places to drive in the UK, or something that's related to your insurance niche. And let's keep on launching new campaigns until we deliver. So in terms of delivery for the money spent, it's 100% success rate, because we are willing to even lose money on some campaigns and launch 5 campaigns if we had to, in order to get the number of links. In terms of like what percentage of the actual campaigns land links, I think it's probably 70 to 80%. It really depends on the niche. If it's a more like fitness niche or sleep niche, we know that it's an easier niche and we can land links easier. But if it's like a SaaS product that's doing marketing, then marketing is a broad topic, but it's not that many journalists that talk about it every day. So we might have to launch 2 campaigns to get the 10 links, right? Does it answer the question? Hopefully, it kind of makes sense.
Well, hopefully it does. Well Wisher, thanks for the question. Fery, thanks for the answer. The next question is from Spider Monkey, and it's for both lads, as he remarked later on in the chat. So Fery always says that having the right people in the team is very important for company's success. So the question for both of you is, what kind of questions do you ask in the interview to assess who's a good match?
Yeah, we have so our interview process is quite thorough. So we start in 2021, and I'm I'm not afraid to kind of admit it. I'm not ashamed. We hired, we had a big growth, and we hired everyone, and even their dogs. Everyone who who stepped into the door, they had a pulse. We checked, they have a pulse. You're hired. Can you start tomorrow? No assessment, just a few questions. If we like the person as as a person in that moment, then hired, come and join next day. And we had like massive issues, like especially that at that time we mostly hired in office, and we had like people not agreeing with each other, and people like not being able to deliver first of all, and then people like bullying each other and talking gossip, the usual stuff that you don't foresee if you didn't have a larger business with lots of dozens of team members. So we found out that we hired 20 people, out of which many were not able to do the job. They couldn't even write, because in their test, their mom actually wrote the example press release. So we had to fire like lots of people, and then we said we need a different approach. We'll create very difficult, more difficult kind of assessments. We'll play the numbers game. We'll get lots of candidates, like 2,000 candidates. So first of all, we have a writing test that's timed by Indeed. So almost it can be cheated, but it's most likely, hopefully nobody cheats that. Out of 2,000 candidates, this is how it works. We say in the ad we say, please upload a cover letter about our company and why you would want to work at our company. Out of 2,000 people, 1,000 would never do that. So they just apply. Okay, 1,000 out. They don't pay attention to details. We don't want those people. And then the other, 1,000 that's left, they will have a writing assessment on Indeed. It's an automated process by Indeed. About another, 500 will fail that test. Only the ones who pass with proficiency level will be sent a second test that's more like PR related. Once they pass that test, then they get the vibe check, the culture check when we get them in a meeting, and then we ask some questions. We have discussion with them, and we try to evaluate: are they, like they're being rude, or are they nice and kind person? And then the final question that we ask is, I think many people might know this, and it might sound brutal, and we ask the person, how lucky do you feel you are in life? And if they start saying, well, I've had some bad luck, sometimes some bad things are happening to me, like instant dismissal, because we know that person lives in a victim, they have a victim mindset. So if a campaign will not land well, then it's going to be, well, Mercury wasn't aligned with the stars, and then my, zodiac sign, blah, blah, or they're like, oh, I'm not unlucky. They will start blaming other things apart from themselves, right? So the lucky vibe check is the last, straw. And if they pass everything before and they have passed the, they say, well, I'm kind of lucky in life, and I think we make our luck in life by how we approach things, then they will be hired. So out of 2,000 people, maybe we hire like 20 people.
Here's the instruction for everyone out there on joining Search Intelligence Limited.
Well, it's, I think honesty of the candidate is best, because even though they might, if they, would want to cheat or whatever, when they get into the team and they cannot perform the job and they are not a culture fit, they will not be happy, and we will not be happy, but they would not be happy either. Like, we don't keep people who cannot perform and who are not a good, culture fit. So down the line, it's just, actually cheating themselves. So hopefully nobody would, go and cheating. Just be honest, and then this is who you are. And if everything is well, then hopefully they will have a good career.
Karl, what about you? What about answering the same question?
Yeah, so I don't have any specific interview questions. I think that depends a little too much on the specific role. But a few kind of best practices for hiring in general. I think we're in the same boat with Fery, where one of the biggest things is getting more people through the door. So if you only have 30 applicants or something, that's insane. Imagine making any kind of decision based on 30 random people you met. You need to post your job ad everywhere, pay for the premium listings, get as many people as possible, because your goal is to find the best possible people. And another thing kind of Fery hinted to is, we just hire people we liked. And that's a massive bias I found myself as well when I was doing one of my last agencies, 2016. I was doing job interviews in person, and I realized later on that I hired this woman. She was beautiful and she was lovely and it was great, but she was awful at her job at the end. And I just liked her, and I ended up hiring her. So I was like, how do we prevent making this mistake ever again? And for every job, I map out the most important things. So if we look at, let's say, hiring a content manager, for example, to manage a website, I would map out things like, how good is their SEO knowledge? How good is their, kind of hiring knowledge for hiring more writers? How good is their, editing skills? How important is these skills? And everyone goes through the same kind of question, and you give it a number. And if it's below an 8 on all of them that you deem important, that's a no. But the other thing I do is I also ask them to rate themselves on this. So if they literally tell you they're a 5 on this, why would I hire you if you think you're bad at this? And that's a pretty kind of good test to put people through. And then the kind of last side is make it real world. Do a trial day of some sort. Give them an actual task. So if you're supposedly good at digital PR, for example, here's a client, we need a campaign. Give me 3 ideas. If they can't come up with something, they're probably not a very good fit for this. And then there's one more nugget that this is kind of the final tab, the final column on the spreadsheet I have now for assessing any kind of hire. And I think I learned this from Noah Kagan ages ago. I don't know where he learned it from, but it is basically the concept that every person in a company is either a -1, a 0, or a +1. So the -1s are the people that if I go on vacation for a week and I come back, things are worse. They've broken something. They've not done their job. Things go bad. You want to get rid of those people immediately. Then you have the zeros. So if I leave, I come back, everything's fine, everything's working, but nothing's improved. So these are people that you can keep around, but your goal is to replace them with the +1s. And the +1s are the people where if I go away for 2 weeks, I come back, the company's improved because of that. The company's grown. They've made things better. And those are the people you want. And I always kind of ask myself at the end of the interview, what's my kind of vibe check on this? Where do I think they're going to fall on this? And if that's a 0 or a 0.5, I've done that as well. I'll take a 0.5 when I'm unsure. But if it's a -1 or 0, I'm more likely to fall towards that. It doesn't matter what all the other scores are. I want people who are there and want to be there. I think that's a really important thing.
Awesome. Amazing, guys. Thanks for your answers. There are a couple more questions in the chat, but we're out of time for today. So hopefully you'll get to ask these questions some other time, guys.
I can see there's a question there by Jonathan. What's your ultimate book recommendation in terms of
Johannes,
digital PR? The book is go to calendly.com/Fery and book a meeting. I'm joking. I don't know. I don't know if there is. I don't know if there is a book on digital PR. I don't know if there. I think there is. There is one guy, Paddy Mugan. I think he wrote something on PR. But I always like to when somebody asks me about a book, I always say just book a meeting. No, don't do it, man. I'm just joking. I don't want to sell. Unless you want to campaign.
I've got one for you. If you check out Ryan Holiday's "Trust Me, I'm Lying," it's literally about media manipulation. It's one of the best PR books you'll ever read, I believe.
I might actually buy this.
Here's one from a Ryan Holiday buff. Right. Thanks everyone for joining and watching. Fery, Karl, thanks for finding the time to do this. Join this chat. It was great. It was fun. It was very, very valuable. I'm sure everyone who's been listening throughout this hour and everyone who will be listening to this and watching this episode later on will find a lot of golden nuggets here. Yes. Next time I'm going to be here with 3 more guests. I wanted to get 3 people today as well, but everyone seems to travel or have some other things to do. Everyone's busy. So, thanks once again, thanks Fery and Karl for finding the time to join the show. It was absolute pleasure for me. So Karl, see you in Estonia. Fery, I think as well, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to be in Estonia. I've got invited to speak in Croatia at the same time. Is it like something like
that's how it is, huh? That's how it is.
Conference, yeah. But yeah, we will get to see each other. And
absolutely.
It was a pleasure to be here, indeed.
All right. Well then, until the next time. Cheers.
See you, everyone.
See you.